testosteronemuscle.co.uk presents T-Muscle Radio, the UK's #1 bodybuilding radio podcast, with Robert the Classic Craig and Brian the Heart Harris, bringing you all of the latest bodybuilding news with exclusive interviews from the pros.
Welcome to the latest episode of T-Muscle Radio Show. I'm here as ever with Brian the Heart Harris. How you doing, mate?
I'm well.
This show we're going to be doing the usual, bring you interviews, we're going to give a bit of news and cover kind of all the iron sports. So this episode we have an interview with Anthony Bales, who's kind of one of the basically the hottest guys in the amateur scene right now. He's Mr. Britain and recently won Mr. World.
Also puts a few things out there that I think everybody's assumed that he's maybe doing but not doing. But
yeah,
we'll
so some good info for him, a good wee interview. We have got IFBB Pro figure girl Lynsey Beattie.
Meow.
And last but not least, we have one of the world's strongest men, the former world deadlift record holder Andy Bolton. So first, a bit of news, something that's come out recently, that the UK BFF are going to be doing a new show. It's going to be called the UK Nationals, I believe, mate.
Yep, it's a qualifier for the Worlds. It's going to be drug tested, allegedly, so we hear so far. Could this result in tumbleweeds on the stage? No athletes.
Or could we get BNBF guys subbing up and taking it?
Yeah, it's making a clean sweep. Who knows, anything could happen.
Yep, so really at this moment in time, all we really know is that there's going to be a new show. It's going to be drug tested, and it's going to be, for that, the reason it's going to be drug tested, basically UKBFF are telling us it's because it's going to be a qualifier for the Worlds,
which is a drug tested event.
Which is a drug tested event, apparently. We've asked for an interview. I've emailed off to the UKBFF for an interview. I get no reply, and I think we kind of seem to be declined because they don't really like the name of the website because it has testosterone in it.
Evil.
So we'll try again. We'll try and get more information on it. But the way it stands is, I mean, Brian, the thing is, the British finals are not a drug tested event.
Which would then raise, why is it not and why is this? Are they going to implement drug testing across the board? You know, this is becoming on the scene. Also, matters raised off the back of the current farcical of the whole Jodie Marsh, you know, hitting the newspapers and, you know, requesting drug testing in all UKBFF events as well. You know, could this all be brought into the equation throughout competitions? You know, again, it's reasons why we'd like to ask a representative of the UKBFF if they could voice their opinion on what's actually happening.
Yeah, I think the problem maybe is that the UK BFF are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because they want to try and progress the sport, but you have obviously negative media, people asking the questions, are you drug tested, do you know? And obviously UK BFF shows it's your own prerogative. Not everybody does that competes take stuff, but as I say, probably the majority of people do use one substance or another. They'll obviously be competing in a completely drug tested event.
Oh, this is it.
So on to our first interview with the kind of man of the moment right now, Anthony Bales, and Brian caught up with him a couple of nights ago there, and he can into a bit of detail about, you know, how he's getting on,
upcoming plans.
Yeah, upcoming plans basically, and also some good stuff about his diabetes, which I know there's a few people in the forums have questioned about that recently. It's obviously a tricky issue to get around if you're a bodybuilder, so have a listen in and see what you think.
Hello.
Hello.
Congratulations on winning the Worlds and the Britain and your qualifier. How did that all feel?
It was good because obviously the Worlds wasn't really in the plan. The reason I got the Worlds qualifier is winning the North Britain, which was my area qualifier. Eddie Elwood kindly agreed to pay for myself and my wife to go across to Dublin and compete in the Worlds. So like I say, it wasn't really in the plans until he announced it on the day type of thing, and it was only like I think it was 2 weeks after the Britain, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you know, you're in shape and you got to go out and you're ready to the Worlds.
Yeah, it's tough to. You'd have regretted it if you hadn't. I think that's fair to say. Did you have the self-belief, you know, that you would be able to go over there and take the whole thing?
Don't really get caught up in the whole. Obviously, you go to a contest, you want to place high. This year, the goal was to win the qualifier and win the class at the Britain and do, like, you know, go through the overall, whatever happens. But that was the kind of personal goal this year. I think we got 4th last time I did the Britain a few years back. Wanted to move up and win the class.
What was your placing the last time you went there?
The Britain was 4th, squeezed in at 5th at the Universe after that. But I was pleased with the Britain win. You know, we were really happy with the Britain win. Then we had the World, and you know, people were saying, oh, you know, you could win the overall at the Worlds. And I was thinking, you know, I don't know, but the Worlds was a tough one. I really didn't think I was going to make it to the Worlds. I had some problems leading up to, especially the last week. We had some stomach issues. I'm sure a lot of bodybuilders have said the same. I don't know why it happens. I mean, I wasn't particularly nervous or anything, or it wasn't that. People said, are you nervous? I was like, no, it's just I had some basically issues going to the toilet without being too graphic. You hear that happening a lot, and I don't know why it was happening. And
had you changed anything?
No, we just kept everything the same. Came down to maybe a couple of pounds. I think by that point, I think it was just an issue of like my body was saying it was tired, you know, telling me to back off and stuff. So the body was basically saying like, you know, I think it's time to stop. But, so obviously getting there, I really didn't think I was going to make it to the Worlds. The last few days I really thought I was going to have to pull out. The last couple of weeks I couldn't really do much cardio and stuff.
How long was your prep in total for that, from the beginning right through to the end of the Worlds?
I think it was like 22, 24 weeks. It'll all be my journal. I do keep a journal and stuff and look back at stuff and things. But I think it was 24 weeks altogether. So by that point you're pretty tired and, you know, everything's piling up and your body kind of does say like no, so...
It's getting up, taking a battering, isn't it? I think it's pretty fair to say that you stay in pretty good condition year round. Maybe judge it for the pictures that we see posted, you know, yearly. A lot of guys probably wish they could turn up on stage in your off-season condition, but the looks of it sometimes.
I mean, I don't stay super lean. I think everybody gets this impression that I'm like, you know, like 5% year round. I don't stay super lean, but I don't get really heavy now. I think it's pointless, you know, that extra 15, 20 doesn't really do much, to be honest. I mean, we've all been there and stepping on the scale at 250s and stuff, and it looks impressive on the scale, but to be honest, I wasn't any stronger when I was heavy. I wasn't really any more efficient in the gym. Maybe it's a little bit pushing it on the joints, but that was about it. It was more of a skill.
Out of interest, you know, because obviously many people, it's a common question people ever do ask, you know, what sort of weight did you step on the stage at? What kind of weight do you generally go to in the off-season these days?
Off-season, I mean, now I'm sitting at around... I'll just weigh myself this morning. About 225 now. And I think at the Worlds, I did actually have a scale with me for some strange reason. I did have a scale in my suitcase that time. I did take one, which I don't usually do. You know, I just usually, obviously NABBA isn't weight class, so you don't have any particular weight to meet. I think I was 204, I think it was, 205 for the Worlds.
So that's only really a difference of £20 for your current off-season weight, is it?
You know, I don't stay super lean all year round.
That is super lean by a lot of people's standards, though.
Yeah, so like I said, I used to do the same, go to like 250 and be puffing and panting and full of water and stuff, and it's just, you know, you feel like crap. I just don't feel like my body's efficient when it's too heavy.
An interesting thing, I don't know if everybody's aware, but obviously, you know, you're diabetic, and have you got a better handle on that, or did you manage to get to grips with that a bit more? Has it caused you any problems when you're prepping?
Yeah, it does. I mean, that was kind of how I got back into competing. I did take a long time away from competing and stuff, and I was still bodybuilding everything, but I wasn't, you know, it wasn't 100%. I was training and I was eating reasonably okay. But I did have a phase of going out a lot at the weekends and stuff, and kind of, you know, maybe living in the fast lane a little bit. Then we got the diagnosis, and that kind of, you got no choice but to clean things up, and that's how we kind of got back to. I started looking okay, and I thought, maybe we could get back on stage, and that's kind of got back to it.
What sort of a break was it?
I used to compete as a junior, which was like obviously for NABBA's under 21, isn't it? I did step into the Masters class. I missed like the novice phase, and I did step into the Masters class, and I qualified for the Britain at about, I think it was about 23 or something like that. But I had some personal problems going on, and I didn't feel confident that I was ready to, you know, go for the bit extra prep what I was going to take, and so I kind of drifted away from the competitive scene. Didn't really follow it, to be honest. Didn't really know what was going on or anything. Took about, I'm terrible with times and dates and stuff, but I think it was about 6-7 years away from like the bodybuilding competing side thing, just to set the gym up and stuff, and like you say, sort of some other projects.
A fairly lengthy gap then, anyway.
Yeah, it was quite a while. Like I say, I was still training and stuff, but I wasn't following the bodybuilding, and you know, I wasn't really interested in the contests and stuff at that point.
Enjoying life a bit more and
a little bit. Because I've been bodybuilding since I was like 17, you know.
I've seen the picture that was posted up just recently, the comparison of you, 17-year-old doing a side chest versus the man that just won the world, and it's inspirational, I think, for a lot of people, because you have got to think, you know, is that something, if somebody had showed you the future, you're going to stand on stage, 2012, Mr. World, the difference between the two physiques is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, we've been banging away for quite a while. I mean, I'm 35 now. I mean, we did have the break, but like I say, I was still training and stuff. I think I know the picture you mean. It was I love like Dorian Yates pictures on my bedroom wall and stuff. And
I think a lot of bodybuilders are guilty of that. You know, they have bodybuilder pictures on the wall instead of maybe page 3 pictures and whatnot.
Yes, I used to get some funny old questions when people used to come in my room and stuff. But yeah, I still like all that stuff now. I've still got pictures of Dorian and stuff in the gym. I mean, I like it motivates me, stuff like that. So
inspirational, yeah. So with the upcoming universe, what's your plans there? Are you going to be changing anything? Are you going to stick to, you know, tried and tested of this year? It was obviously successful for you. Are you going to push the boat out a bit? What's your plans?
To be honest, I don't know what's happening competing wise. I mean, I kind of know I should be getting back on stage this year. I mean, we're on a little bit of a roll type of thing. And next year is pretty much planned out. I've got some projects to work on. I want to promote like the Max Muscle Open bodybuilding contest and everything. So next year is kind of taken up. So if I am going to get back on stage, it does really have to be pretty much back end of this year.
I think everybody's probably just taken for granted that for the role so far, as Anthony Bale's going to go and take the universe now.
Yeah, I mean, I've never ever once said I was doing it. People just kind of assume that obviously you're coming off the world and you're going to do it. But there's a lot of other factors that comes into play. I mean, I've got a wife, 2 stepkids, you know, I've got 2 businesses to run. It's not as easy as just pushing it to one side. And we've already done like 6 months worth of prep. That's like half the year type of thing. I'm pretty beat up at the moment. I'm still suffering with the leg. I've got injury to the, I'll try and pronounce this correctly, the abductor gracilis. It keeps swelling and pooling blood and stuff, so I can't really get legs properly.
Did you manage to damage it?
Well, I had a lot of problems with the legs this year. I don't know, just maybe wear tear, being tired, you know, body fat low. You're kind of pushing it when you shouldn't be type of thing. I'm sure we've all been there. You know, your body's telling you to back off. I injured the left leg twice. We got that leg kind of okay working around it, and then the right leg kind of went. So I think most bodybuilders are the same. It's getting closer to the contest, and your body's saying, like, you know, slow down, and you just don't. You know, you don't see when you're there. When you look back, you kind of could kick yourself, but at that time when you've got that tunnel vision, you don't really see it. So at the end of the day, the universe is a tough contest, and people are talking about switching over to UK BFF, which, and again, tough classes. So I really feel I need to be back in there and training 100%, which at the moment isn't really happening. I mean, mentally I'm fresh. I could push all day, but just the body's kind of saying no.
Telling you back off a bit. That's interesting, because that was going to be one of my questions. Obviously, that's one of the biggest questions in a lot of people's lips, and speculation of, are you considering a potential jump over to the UKBFF? And
yeah, definitely. I mean, again, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to have to choose, because it's going to be this year type of thing. Like I say, next year's kind of planned out with plans. But the thing is, with the UKBFF, for me, for my qualifier, it's only like, yes, we have been sitting working with data and stuff, so obviously it is going in my mind. It's 10 weeks till the qualifier, which for me, I don't really like prepping for a contest in 10 weeks. I like 15, preferably 20. I mean, I know we're still not in bad shape from coming off the worlds and stuff. And once I lower carbs and stuff, I'll drop a nice amount of weight straight away. But it's the same again, especially with the leg. I mean, I don't want to do it and regret it that I couldn't prepare like 100% type of thing. I'm usually pretty confident going into a prep that I'm ready and I'm ready to go and I'm fresh. But this one, it's kind of like, should I do it? Should I not? And I appreciate everybody's interest and get lots of messages like pushing me and saying, yeah, Anth, you know, you should do it and stuff. And you know, it's nice that people are behind me, but I don't know. Obviously, I'll have to decide the next week or two. So it's a little bit up in the air right now. I'm not just saying that. I really don't know 100% what I'm going to do.
Everybody's going to be left in suspense, because that was a question I think a lot of people wanted to hear. You know, obviously with the 2012 class out there now, you know, everybody wants to see Anthony Bale go there, get a pro card.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a huge step from. You know, the NABBA Worlds is obviously a very good title, but that type of step is just like another level, you know. It's
another world again, yeah.
Yeah.
I can totally understand where you're coming from. Obviously, you would only want to give it a chance if you were 100%.
I mean, I would like to go. You know, everybody would like the chance of getting the pro card. It's something you know, you don't think of when you start out, but it's obviously the pinnacle of even obtaining a pro card, even if you didn't do anything as a pro bodybuilder, which is very, very tough. I'm sure we've seen that with a lot of the British guys. Or even obtaining a pro card is a huge, huge accomplishment. So.
Do you follow the UKBFF yourself?
I do now. Where I'm from, the northeast, UKBFF isn't really kind of popular, if you like. But the last couple of years, you know, the UKBFF has come a little bit more popular in this area. I do follow the contest. This is me in the UKBFF. Sorry, I'll forget somebody and it'll sound bad. But there's a lot of really impressive guys. Barney Duplessis is really impressive. I always impressed with his conditioning. Obviously Harold is big, freaky. You know, he's going to be tough to beat for some guys. There's a lot of guys up there, but at the moment I just can't recall their names. But those are the two that kind of stick out right now. Stuart Core, he's really impressive. I think if he comes in on the money, he's going to take some beating. So there is lots and lots of good guys.
A lot of talent. I mean, for yourself, you would obviously, with the kind of weight you're stepping on stage at around about the 204, 205 mark, that lands you right in the heavies, doesn't it? Right at the kind of top end of the heavy scale. So yeah,
that's another thing that I've been speaking to people about. I mean, do you suck down to light heavyweight? You know, do you go in at the bottom end of the heavyweights? Me personally, I like my physique a little bit fuller, you know, a little bit rounder. I think it suits my kind of frame a little bit better. But I know I could get down to light heavy if it was required, but, you know, you start to lose a little bit of size from the leg sweep and stuff, and I suppose you would just press on and see where you end up. But I've never had experience competing in a weight class or anything like that, so...
There's a bit more stress into the equation even.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, I suppose, on the other side of the coin, you know, with the universe, obviously, is there anybody you would see as kind of, you know, like direct competition? I mean, I know that's international, obviously, and there's a lot of guys out there that we probably wouldn't even have heard of before that are going to be stepping into the classes, but is there anybody that you know, maybe for the UK, that's qualified for the show that you would see as, you know, direct competition, or any others?
Top of my head, I can't think of any UK guys right now. I just, like you say, you never know who's going to turn up. It's an international contest. You know the European guys turn up always really, really impressive. Steve Flynn, I think he's got a really good chance to take the class 4 and have a really good dig at the overall. He comes in fantastic shape, so he's a kind of a front runner. But I don't know who's qualified, and obviously you've got England coming up, so there'll be some guys there. Same again with the UK BFF. There could be some guy out there nobody knows about. You know, he's training hard and he's just going to step on stage. Could be some mutant out there that just turns up and wipes the floor with everybody. You just don't know. So you've heard this before. You just worry about yourself. But I do, you know, I just concentrate on myself and turn up on the day, and the judges will put me where they put me, you know. I've been in that situation before where you start worrying about who's turning up. I mean, don't get me wrong, you do go online and you check who's going to be competing and stuff. It's just human nature. But
human nature, that's it.
You know, if you start worrying about who's going to turn up, like, there's always somebody, oh yeah, Steve Smith's looking awesome, he's 285 with 25-inch arms. You hear it all the time, and they turn up looking a little bit out of shape, but you can only worry about yourself. I know it's a very generic saying, but it is true. Your head starts to get bent in if you start thinking about so-and-so and so-and-so, but you'll always know the kind of front runners. You always check them out. You've been there yourself, I bet, Brian.
That's it. As I say, you never know until today. Seeing the pro pictures online 7 weeks out to contest, and they look like things for another planet, and then they step up there and suddenly it's as if somebody's put the plug out and
yeah, you know yourself, a physique can change within a day or two. Absolutely. You know, it's you can come in a little bit flat or a little bit watery, or come in looking awesome the day after. There's lots of variables that come into play. You just got to do the best you can and show up the best you can on the day and see what happens.
Another question, just going back onto the touching the diabetic point, how does that work with your carb up? I mean, do you do a conventional carb up, or is that something that throws up problems there?
Yeah, it does cause problems. I mean, without going into it too much, because it is quite boring. You know, it's not as simple as you eat some carbs, you take more insulin. You know, I think that's kind of the premise. People think the more carbs you eat, the more insulin you take, and it kind of works like that. But it isn't that simple. I usually have to carb up early because, you know yourself, I don't know if you know any guys who use insulin as a ergogenic aid, which is not that case for me, but it brings water. You know, you're going to take insulin, it brings water retention. So I can't chance the whole carbon up late thing, so I generally have to carb up early and then hopefully hold it and get rid of the excess water. Which would, same for when I'm thinking about UKBFF, would cause a bit of an issue, because if I carb up early, I'm going to be heavier. You know, you've got to make the weight class, whatever you're going to do.
Absolutely.
And again, sometimes the carb up can go wrong and the blood glucose can run high, which kind of happened at the Britain in 2009. The carb up didn't go well. Even though there was nothing I'd changed, I think it's just, you know, the insulin sensitivity and stuff changes day to day. Even though I do the same thing day in, day out, sometimes the body just doesn't want to know, and it backfires, and I didn't absorb any of the carbs. I was basically passing them out to the urine. That's what happens when your blood glucose runs too high. It comes out in your sweat and you pee, you know.
Is that when it causes you have to take more insulin at that point, obviously for health reasons, or?
You just, basically, you've got to keep the blood glucose down. You know,
Right.
that's first and foremost, because I'm sure you know the problems that arise if your blood glucose is running high. It causes all kinds of problems with your kidneys and stuff. And
I actually remember it in 2009 Britain. I remember you monitoring yourself and having to, you know, do it right there and then. That was one of the reasons why I was asking. You know, just it seemed to be, you know, as I say, obviously not everybody's going to be aware, and that's obviously a huge factor. You know, it's not just about, you know, look at the condition this guy's got and look at how he's turned up on stage, but you know, you've got a huge hurdle there, you know, to take on board as well. So, you know, the same things that everybody else has got to do.
yeah, I mean, we all have hills to climb, and it's kind of the way it is, but it does actually add like into the realm of stress.
No,
The whole kind of thing. If I'm waking up and my blood glucose is high and I've got to wait till it comes down before I do cardio, and if I'm doing cardio and I go hyperglycemic, I've got to eat sugar, which is obviously frustrating. That's why you're on the treadmill in the first place. And you don't want to be shoving sugar down your mouth, so...
It must throw actually quite a frustrating spin on the actual prep itself then, because I would imagine then you're not going to be able to have set figures every day as such, if you going by what you're saying there.
Yeah, I mean, you would think, just typical bodybuilder, I get up at the same time, I eat the same time, I train the same time, I'm a creature of habit. You would think that like meal one would require X amount of insulin, meal two, and it just doesn't work out. It is very frustrating. I've got to check it like 7 times a day, and kind of, I always say this, I can't control it, I just got to kind of manage it best I can. Bodybuilder's nightmares, your blood glucose is running high, you just don't absorb the nutrients, the aminos, and everybody thinks insulin, carbohydrate, they don't take into the account that, you know, if your blood glucose isn't stable, you won't absorb those aminos, and that's kind of what happened in 2009 as well. I wasn't as experienced as with the diabetes as I am now. Don't get me wrong, I still have problems. But back then I was really struggling with the fasting glucose level, which means when I'm going to sleep, my blood glucose is running high, and you know, the time a bodybuilder recovers and grows is during his sleep. You know, so if I'm waking up with very high glucose, I know that when I've been to sleep, that type of thing hasn't been taking place. So we did lose a little bit of tissue, but you know, I'm kind of getting to grips with it now, and things have been going okay this year. So
that should only continue. Just obviously the fact that you brought that up there, is it okay to talk about your plans for the show?
Yeah, no problem. Just by the way, Brian.
What's your plan? I take it it's going to be a NABBA, is it going to be an independent?
Just as I said earlier, it's kind of going on in my brain. I mean, I haven't got any type of picture, oh, you're loyal to so-and-so federation. It's nothing to do with that. It's a shame you can't compete in both, you know.
Yes,
but that's the way it is, and I know people bring up the whole politics thing, and I don't really get concerned with that either. You know, I'm sure wherever you stand on stage, they'll judge you fairly, you know, come in the best you can. But, you know, the universe is very tempting. Everybody, the universe title's a nice title to have. Plus the fact that I was told that nobody's ever won the Worlds, Britain and Universe in 1 year. That's obviously a bit of a motivating factor. To be honest, Universe would be the sensible choice if you like, because it's a little bit further away. But, you know, it's... UK BFF is very tempting, but it's just the time factor, and I really don't know at this point. I really don't know which one I'm going to go for. So,
if there's any consolation, I mean, you're saying your qualifier is 10 weeks away for the UK BFF. I know that there is one that's 12 weeks away. I mean, that's a whole extra fortnight into me.
From the dates I saw, it was 10 weeks and 11 weeks. There's one in Leeds and the one in Birmingham, and the finals is 13 weeks away. So there you go. I've been sitting and working the dates out, and I'll have a chat with my wife and stuff, and hopefully we don't get divorced if I do another. You know the drill, Brian.
Yeah. less stresses.
It's not that I'm stomping around bad temper or anything, but I'm just a little bit withdrawn and a bit quiet. And
as many of us do, it's not necessarily that we turn into...
Yeah, everybody gets that impression, oh, you're dying, you must be hell to live with. And like, it's not, it's just...
Throw inside yourself.
Yeah, you just kind of, you go into a little bit of a hole and you got the tunnel vision on and you can't really do anything or go anywhere. If you prep properly anyway, that's my view. I won't go and eat out or stuff, or even though, you know, eating a steak and broccoli in a restaurant probably isn't going to hurt me. I can't do that. I've got to eat the same meals at the same time.
Uniform as possible. See, what was your take on it? I know you did prep with Skip one period.
Yeah, we did a little bit of work with Skip back in 2009 again, yeah.
That's one of the most vivid memories I have of when you first joined for him back then. We were both members of, and seeing your pictures come up at that point, and I didn't know anything about Skip's ways then. Obviously, I'm a bit more savvy now. And so do you still approach that, the refeed method, or do you not have a refeed, or what's your whole take on the cheat meal?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can't do the kind of skip load or the refeed like where you just eat as much as you like. I mean, I do have high carb days. It might be every 7 days. It might be every 10. It might be every 3 weeks. It just goes by what the pictures. I take my pictures every Saturday morning, and I keep an eye on the scale and stuff as a reference point. But the same again, my carb days, if I have a high carb day, it still has to be measured and weighed, and obviously for the insulin and stuff. And I can't do the conventional where you just, I know some guys will eat as much as they want for 6 hours, or, that just doesn't work for me. When we did a little bit of work with Skip, I think the reason behind that, I heard some good things about Skip. I would still recommend the guy. We learned a lot of things from him again. He's a good guy. He's a good prep coach. I just think, I think we were both on the same page type of thing. He didn't really, I showed him my diet and everything and supplement routine and everything, and he didn't really change a whole lot. I was just kind of, I hadn't been on the competitive scene for a while. I didn't know whether I was a little bit out of the loop with methods and stuff, and it was just good to have someone in your corner to kind of bounce off. So you've had the same mind. You know kind of what you want to do, but it's always good to have somebody say, yeah, you're kind of thinking the way I'm. The head games kick in, and that is one of the benefits of having a prep coach, I think. Even if you are an individual who kind of knows what you're doing and, you've been doing this a while, it's always good to have somebody to bounce off and
ground you.
Second pair of eyes just to check things out. And but obviously, if you're a beginner, a prep coach is going to save you a lot of years.
Yeah, a lot of
stupid stuff which I used to do. It was just all insane, crazy methods. And I think with Walton, it's just all these weird, wacky diets and stuff. But when you break it down, it isn't rocket science. It is pretty simple.
Diet and all your own methods now. Do you have like a close knit team of your friends that you can rely on, or do you use an outside source like many do now?
I don't know. Like I say, I'm usually pretty confident that I'm making the right decisions and I'm progressing okay. I mean, I'll same again when the head games kick in. I'll ask my training partner to have a look, and it's we'll have the guys who compete at max muscle. I usually get them in on a Sunday. We take each other's pictures and stuff, and same again, we'll bounce off each other. And I always say that the camera doesn't lie. We take the pictures in the natural daylight, and not pictures when you're just getting out of the shower, where all the nice shady lights and everything. And yourself, we do them every week, and we'll bounce off each other. And if someone's behind, we'll say, well, what's going wrong? And I generally, I do a bit of prep work, but just haven't this year because I don't think it's fair if you take a client on and you haven't got that time to devote to them. And yourself, if you want a question answering, you want it answering like in an hour.
Yeah. Which
when you diet yourself and prepping, things kind of slack a little bit. So I tend to just focus on myself when I'm competing, and if I'm not, I've got no problem with helping guys with the prep and stuff. And
those darker weeks come in and you become more of a recluse to your own self. The last thing you want to be doing is having 5 or 6 other people stressing out about
yeah, because everybody gets the head games and they're sending me like 10 emails a day and stuff. It's just natural. It's not like they're trying to annoy you, but you know yourself, you do get a little bit.
Half of the course.
You don't want to talk to people and stuff.
Would you say it's like you get more out of being compared to everyone else?
I like the comparisons, like you say, the whole posing and stuff. I mean, I have tried to work on that. I understand it's part of it. I'm not the extrovert, and I don't really like getting up there. But I do try and look confident. And I do look like I'm trying to enjoy it, and I think you've got to. It's the whole part of the whole contest thing. But the last year or two I have really worked on that aspect, but I'm still quite shy, Brian. I don't really like, where's my training partner? I mean, he loves it, he'll stay up there all day, you know. You have to get the hook to get him off, and like you see, everybody's got their own type of part that they like about competing, and for me it's just the whole process of the challenge.
Well, I really appreciate it again, Anthony, and I'll speak again, mate.
Alright, cheers, Brian.
Okay, cheers.
Bye.
So, mate, what do you think about that? It sounds to me as if Anthony's really considering making that jump to the UK BFF.
Oh, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it? You know, in what weight class, and that could throw a different spin in things altogether.
And do you reckon that although he's maybe not going to be the biggest guy that's going to be competing, what is good about Anthony is that he's got potential to be a good 212 guy?
Absolutely has. The package, it's the full package he's got going on there. He's got enough size, beautiful flowing muscle bellies, cracking shape, presents himself well. You know, it's definitely, you know, as we've already said in the previous show, you know, we're tipping probably Barney as a current favourite going in here. Obviously, you can't discredit, you know, other competitors, but just for speculation's sake, it'd be a bit of apples and oranges there, you know, to see the two up against each other.
Yep.
But it'll be interesting to see, you know, whether he decides to, if he decides to do UKBFF, will he suck it down to light heavies? Will he remain as a heavy? As you heard, he says his weight on stage was about the 204, 205 mark.
Yeah, just over 200. What about the diabetes stuff? I mean, that was good because, you know yourself, I mean, you and I have both prepped at the same time for a show. We prepped together for a show, the Brits in 2010, and there was plenty of occasions where we were sitting doing kind of the tail end of the prep. We're both dying.
Crying.
You're doing your cardio, and we're both sharing like a jelly sweet because blood sugar levels crashing through the floor. So imagine what it must be like, obviously having diabetes and like that constant.
It must be like a roulette almost, because as hard as prep is at the best of times, to have something that the very next day you wake up changes a set variable that you'd have had. I mean, as we all know well, it's about planning, it's about routine, it's about regiment every day.
Yep, consistency.
And that takes that right out the game. You know,
yep.
you could wake up, his blood glucose could be through the roof, or the next day could be normal, or it must be a nightmare. It just shows that obviously the length it has to go to get that condition, to put that, to go that extra mile, even beyond. I mean, it's hard enough as it is. And it's admirable, fantastic. Yep. Actually, it's probably something that a lot of people probably weren't aware of, and then when you do learn that, let's just say the guy in a different light again. Yeah. So I mean, thanks very much to Anthony for doing the interview. As many of you know, he posts occasionally on the forum. He's a busy guy, but he has been posting, and as I said, the interview, he'd be willing to answer questions for people. So after the show, we're going to get a Q&A thread up, and so if you've any more questions off the back of this, and I'm sure he'll be able to answer some of them for you just in obviously a bit of time. Right, next interview up we have Andy Bolton. Andy's a cracking guy. Brian and I have spoken to him before at Dave Crosley's gym when he did a seminar there, and he was a down to earth guy. Yeah, talk to anybody. Very personable. And he had some good stuff to say. I really enjoyed the interview with Andy, because obviously the numbers that he's pulling and all that. Everybody loves to hear the numbers. Oh, it's great fun. So have a listen and see what you think.
Hello, Andy.
Hi, mate.
How's things going today? All right?
Yeah, not too bad. Going alright. A few injuries, but we're getting there. Getting over them.
Just got a few things to ask you just for the interview.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, go ahead.
What's happening with you just now? Whereabouts are you in your cycle, and what's going to be the future for you?
Well, about 12 weeks ago, I tore my hamstring, and then I was doing really well. Deadlifting 900 pounds, sets of threes, everything was flying. Pulled my hamstring, like I said. Then after that, I got back to full strength in about 4 weeks. Deadlifting again. Started using no belt just to hold myself back, which normally I never deadlift without a belt. I felt I got to about 325 about 6 weeks ago. Felt like popping my back. I blew my disc out in my back, the L3, L4. So at the moment, that's been rehabbed now, and I'm back up to squatting like 220s, 230s, deadlifting 200s, and I'd say I'm looking to compete in about 8 weeks in the UK Open, just a small meet just to get back on the platform, and then hopefully maybe the World in the end of the year, maybe the WPC World in Vegas, November.
Talking about your injuries, is it something that you've had a lot of through your career? Is it?
Seems to be as I've got a bit older,
yeah,
and I'm pushing a little bit harder. Things seem to just giving out. I mean, the hamstring was just something that I fell forward with, lost my balance on a squat, and I got them in the knee, and my hamstring just popped. It was nothing too bad, and then because my hamstring hadn't peeled up properly, the back was strong enough on that side, and it just all way went to one side. It was like this.
nothing I'm doing wrong, you know. It's just one of them things, really. I think.
Alright, so what do you do for recovery for such injuries?
I've got a physio, I've got a massage, I've got a girl who does massage, deep tissue. I just rehab in exercises, just work around it, you know, keep everything strong around that area.
A lot of bands and stuff like that for rehab?
I do, yeah, I use bands a lot. I ain't used them a lot over the years, but last few years I use bands quite a lot now. Yeah.
Right.
Just any way I can train around it, really.
We're talking about 8 weeks' time, you say, for the British?
It's UK, just the UK Open. It's a big show. It's going to be a big competition. I'm not going to be at world record level by any means, but I haven't done a total in 2 years because I've been injured, and various things are going on with work and everything else. So it's time to come back again, I think.
Talking about work, is that something that you're busy out with powerlifting, out with obviously your books and your personal training? Is there other things that you do?
Just really that. What it is doing internships. You know, people come over, spend a day, 2 days with me. I've got the online training, which there's about 55 people in total I've got online. I don't see them all. Obviously, I don't do programs every week for them all. Some people come in, some people go out. I've got quite a few people training one-to-ones, e-books as well. There's all e-books to keep on top of. It's all that stuff. It's just a lot of work, yeah. I mean, then the family, you know, a wife and daughter. It's having to work all around that.
Okay, so what's your expectations of yourself for the British? Is it something you want to just build from that to the world?
All it is at this one is just to get through it, you know, get through it with no injuries. I'm not thinking about any numbers. I've nothing in mind. Just to go there and lift, enjoy it, and just to lift. I have no idea what my body will be capable of by then.
So what you're saying with injuries and that, is just, I'm guessing what you can make out, it's one of those things that old age maybe just doesn't come quite so easy. It's just starting to...
Yeah, it's tough. It's been hard. I mean, the training is just as easy, and I'm training hard. Mentally, I'm still focused. I'm still got a lot of desire there. I still want it bad. But sometimes your body breaks down. It don't give you what it used to do 10 years ago.
How many years have you been at the top of the kind of powerlifting tree? Just to give people an idea of how long you've actually been doing these kind of numbers.
Yeah, well, I think it's about... I come back to powerlifting in 2000. I did powerlifting for 3 years when I was younger. I was a strongman. I come back to powerlifting in 99, 2000. And since 2000, I've been on top. Since then, it's 12 years straight. Doing big totals year after year after year. I've been constantly getting stronger and stronger. You know, obviously, those times I've done over a 1,000 pound deadlift twice. I've missed 1,000 pound 5 times. I've squatted over 1,200 pounds. I've squatted over 500 kilos 5, 6 times. And I think I did, at one time I did 10 straight totals. I did 5 totals in a row, 9 to 9, and I did total over 1,100 kilos. You know, I mean, there's a lot of big lifts over the years, and it's
a lot of weight.
Yeah, it is a lot of weight, and your body, you know, your body does feel it after a while.
How much more do you reckon you've got in you? What do you reckon you're capable of, and how much longer do you reckon you've got in you?
It depends on my body. It depends on what my body will give me. You know what it is? I don't know if I'll ever get up to 1,200 pound squats again. I don't know if I want to get up to 1,200 pound squats again. Them sort of weights are crazy weights, and there's still not many men in the world today squatted over 1,200 pounds. So I'm doing it deeper, like I did the Arnold. It was a deep squat, it was a good squat, and it's a weight where things go wrong there, you can get seriously hurt. You can get hurt. And I've been there, done that. I don't know if I want to get back to that sort of weight. I enjoy squatting. I've been working hard on my bench press. I believe I can get the record back on deadlift. I mean, I'll put in 410s for 3 reps in training before the Expo in May. And I honestly believe that I'll pull 470 in May. But obviously, the hamstring tore 8 weeks before.
You reckon you've got 470 in you, yeah?
Yeah, 470. I reckon. I've always said that since I was young. I believe I can pull 470.
That would take the record back from...
Yeah, I'll take it back from Benedict's, yeah. Benedict's on 460 right now. But I know Benedict's got his problems as well, you know, in his hernia. He tore his bicep this year.
Was Eric's a strong man, I suppose, that is.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it's you know, it happens.
So I mean, let's talk about injuries, Phil. I mean, on that topic, because obviously you've been doing this for a long, long time, lifting crazy weights for a long time. You've had yourself injuries, of course, but you've never, to my knowledge, been extremely serious for the way you're moving. So what would the best advice be for guys to kind of avoid injuries in terms of powerlifting and bodybuilding? What would your best advice be?
No, it is warm up properly. Always do some cross trainers, some gentle stretching. Don't rush straight into the big weights. I mean, even now, when I'm deadlifting, I'll warm up with 60 kilos. I do a few sets with 60 kilos, and I go to 100 kilos, then 140 kilos, People think you can pull 1,000 pounds, so you must snap the lifting on 200 kilos. I go into the gym, I'm like anybody else. I just same body as anybody else. Start light and work my way up slowly. And work it up over 10, 12 weeks. You know, these young kids today, a lot of them are just too eager to be too strong, quick. The strength takes time to get, and you've got to be patient. You've got to be patient. It'll come, you know, if you're focused, it'll come. It'll happen. But don't rush it. Too many young kids put too much weight on, the form goes bad. Everybody will have practicing too much, to make it too big, too fast. You lift over, you know, weight they can't handle, and that's when things start tearing.
Talking about starting light, I remember seeing you at Crossland's gym.
Yep.
In Carlisle, when you were giving a bit of a kind of deadlift seminar there, and you were explaining how speed's important. I just remember watching you just walk up to a bar with about 200 on it and just lift off the floor like it was an empty carrier bag.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything so in my life. Moving on to one other thing that I was wanting to ask you about is bands and chains.
Yep.
Quite a big advocate. Are you using a lot of chains in your lifts? Is that something that you're still doing?
You know what? It changes. It changes. I mean, I used in the early years, I just didn't use anything. Just trained with the bar and weights. Any chains, no bands, no boards. But then as times move on, you know, you need to go with the times, and I've started using chains now. I use bands, boards. It goes in cycles. You know, you've got to find what works for you. Now, I use chains. If I use chains for too long, I find I get burnt out. You know, I start getting tired. If I do too many lifts off the boards, I get burnt out. I tire fast. So I think there's a place for them, you know, but all you've got to do is try a maybe 6-week cycle using them in a set way, and then see how you feel after that, and change them. If you change them, but always give it time to work, you know, don't just change it week to week at the beginning, because you're not going to know what's working.
You reckon 6-week cycles for?
About 6 weeks, just to get used to change, yeah. 6 weeks, just try 6 weeks of change, 6 weeks of bands in different ways each time. Or even 4 or 6 weeks. But as long as you give yourself enough time, you know, to use them. You put them on for 1 week, you can take them off and use something else, and take them off and use something else. You're never going to know what's working. You know, big lifters today, experienced lifters, West Side guys, big iron guys, they know exactly what they're doing with the body, you know. They know exactly how it works, so they can change it around more often. But lads coming up, until they know what works, they don't know. They have to find out. They've got to learn. The only thing by doing that in learning is writing it down, trying it. If it doesn't work, change it. If it does work, you know, stick to that bit and put something else in and change it. And it's just changing around all the time. It's constantly working, finding what works, what don't work.
Do you reckon there's quite a lot of crossovers, typically using bands and using chains and using boards? You'll never see powerlifters using them. Do you reckon there's quite a good bit of carryover? And it would be a lot useful if a lot of bodybuilders implemented a lot of those tools, maybe using some board press to try and kind of overload triceps and stuff like that, because you don't see it happen. Do you think it's something that maybe missing a trick?
Yeah, I mean, I think strongmen are using bands, aren't they? They're starting to use bands on shoulder pressing now, aren't they? They're using a lot more bands. I think bodybuilders, yeah, I mean, you know, I think they could. I mean, it's not to say they can't use them. Again, it's careful of overtraining. But I think it's the way forward. I mean, it's just the bar and weights now. It's not enough to some people. You need to put more resistance on there in different parts of the lift where you're weak. And for bodybuilders, I mean, using a band for bodybuilders on a bench press, it's a lot more resistance, you know. Core muscles are working harder. They've got to balance the weight now. And
have the lockout really for the...
Yeah, it's a little harder at the top end. Yeah, I think it will. It'll help everybody. As long as it's used right, you know, the right way.
Talking about bench press there, that's something that you in your kind of earlier powerlifting career was one of your kind of weaker points.
Oh, that was terrible.
And then I remember it was really interesting when you were telling us about how you managed to bring that up. If you could just kind of go into that a wee bit and just to kind of say what you did.
I used to bench around about, I mean, the Arnold in 2003, 2005, 2006, I was benching about 260. And all the other guys were lifting 310. They're leaving me behind. And I was told I should be a big bencher, so I've got a big back, a good base to bench off. And I can understand that. I'm thinking, I was a big back. You have a big bench. I just couldn't understand until I got shown by Bill Crawford from Male Militia. Exactly how to use it, you know, to arch your back, use your lats, pull the bar down, you're squeezing the bar. And all I did with my training, I used to just bench, maybe do a board bench, and then I'd do a lot of push downs, you know, line extensions, you know, the heavy dumbbell distance work. And all it did was give me sore elbows. So Bill said, right, you know, if something's hurting you, don't do it. Because you can't do something if it hurts. So after having a surgery on my elbow, after doing all this, because it caused a bone spur, and I just cannot do extensions and things, just can't do it. So what you do is just focus on pressing then. So I went raw benching, then I do shirted benching, then I do board benching, then I did band benching. I do 4 bench movements in a workout now. And it was quite a close grip as well, quite a medium to close grip. So I want my triceps to working harder.
Yes.
And my bench went from 290 to 342 in 6 months. and the elbow pain stopped. There was no elbow pain. I haven't done a push down now in 2-3 years. I haven't done any tricep assistance whatsoever. All I do is benching.
So there you go. So all those years.
So, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't help everybody, because if you look back on Bill Kazmaier and Chris Confessor and Ken Lane, all the great benching, Ryan Kennelly, all these guys did a lot of heavy dumbbell extensions and things like that. It all depends on your body structure, your arm length.
That's incredible. You made basically 10 years progression in 6 months.
Yeah. I've got long arms, you see. Very long arms. So you watching my arm, bend at the elbow. That elbow is under a lot of pressure. Well, if you've got short arms, it's not under that pressure. But you can get away with that. That might help somebody with short arms. But somebody who's got long arms like me, an extension doesn't do a thing. Apart from cause elbow pain.
Right, okay. That makes total sense, yeah. One more kind of question for you is, what kind of weight are you sitting at the moment, and what kind of...
I'm about 150 kilos right now. Okay. 230 pounds. It's not heavy. It's not heavy for me. It's when I hit my back, I dropped some weight, went right down to 140. Couldn't train for a while, but there's no point in being too big. No. If you can't train, you give me back a rest, give them discs a rest. Now I'm squatting again. I'm now this week, I've just started building up, increasing my food. I'm on the way up now. And hopefully, get big and do some decent numbers in 8 weeks.
So what kind of weight do you reckon you'll end up in 8 weeks' time? What kind of weight will you top out at?
I could be about 160. About 160 kilo.
That's a lot of weight.
Get pretty quick. I can eat a lot of food.
I mean, what's your typical day's eating look like to get that size? I mean, that must be a shitload of food.
It is, but you know what it is as well? It's fats. It's increasing my fats, but increasing good fats. I increase my olive oil. Your coconut oils.
So that's something you pay a lot of attention to nowadays. Is alright, it's high fat, it's a shitload of food, but it's good quality.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, you could eat bacon sandwiches all you wanted, and you're gonna have a heart attack. Let's be honest. It's nice food. We all like it. But it's not the best food for putting weight on. It is, but it's not going to be good weight.
What have you ate today, for instance? What's your typical day's eating?
Today, this morning, first thing this morning, I've had a protein drink from CMP 4XL.
Okay.
1,000 calorie drink with some rice milk. Then I've had protein bars, 2 protein bars, and some carb powder. In front of me now, I've just had 4 cheese sandwiches, cheese slice sandwiches. I've got some maltodextrin powder, some mega greens mixed in a glass. And the side of here, and the cooker, I was taking out some roast potatoes and a full chicken.
Full chicken and roast potatoes?
Yeah, that's going to be my snack in a minute when I finish talking to you.
Just a snack, just to get off the board.
I can eat a full chicken easily and then just eat again in an hour, 2 hours. If I'm training hard, I just burn it off. It just burns off.
Yeah, that's something I forgot to ask when you were saying that you burn out you get tired quite easily. I mean, I think what people really don't realise is how long you actually train for. So, I mean, if you could just say a typical session and how long that actually lasts, how many sets.
Yeah, I'm a bench session now. I mean, last night I did about 7 sets of raw benching, flat benching. Did 4 sets of shirted bench. Then I did 5 sets of board bench and 3 sets of band bench. And then I did shoulders and rear delt. Took me about 2 hours, 2-hour session.
Yes, about a 2-hour session, which is...
Yeah, just on bench.
How many days a week?
I bench every Monday, then every Wednesday, tomorrow, it'll be squat and deadlifts together. That'll be about a 3-hour session. It's squat, deadlifts and heavy leg press tomorrow. And then I'll rest Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday I'll be an assistance day. Saturday's a back assistance, hamstring work, core, grip, with trainer's grip, do some treadmill, walking on treadmill. Just all the little movements, all the small movements.
When you say little movements and small movements, I mean, I've seen you do some of your grip work with 400 and odd kilo and a bar, so what are you at just now using? Yeah, it's only a small movement though. It's a small movement.
It's assistance work, yeah.
To be honest, that's a fucking ridiculous thing. It's a small movement.
It's a lot of weight, but it's only moving a short movement, you see, so it's just working them hands, that's all it is.
Yeah, probably the pinch.
Yeah, well, we do pinch gripping, not as often now, because pinch gripping just, for me, I don't find it helpful deadlift as much. I like double overhand barbell shrugs. Double overhand shrugs are a great movement for grip. Just shrugging the bar up and down. I've worked up to 280 kilos, double overhand, a couple of reps, and then I do some heavy deadlifts off a really hard board, and just hold it for 10-second holds with over 400 kilos. And then we do a lot of fat bar. We do some fat bar deadlifts on a Saturday sometimes, double overhand fat bar deadlifts.
What do you find the benefit of fat bar is? Just again, grip?
Again, it's fat bar's not really. I don't find it related to grip as much. It's more hand size, you know. The bigger your hands, the better you are. But it does make them hands work a little bit harder. And it's good to mix it up a bit. It's good just to give it a change. You know, I don't like to do the same thing too much. I like to change it around, so you're just hitting it from all angles. Do you find the fat bar works well for bench press and for other movements? So I never use fat bar for bench or anything like that. I never use it.
Okay.
I've never used it for grip and stuff like that, so I don't know.
Only for deadlift, it's just kind of sticking in the hands a bit more. Obviously.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, Andy, thanks very much for taking the time.
No problem, mate.
Okay, mate. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
So, mate, my question for you is, if you ate a whole chicken and roast potatoes, how long would it take for you to be hungry again?
Mate, as you just seen, I couldn't eat half a plate of sweet and sour chicken before we started recording this.
That's true. Before we recorded the show, Brian was sitting eating sweet and sour chicken and he was eating it like a fucking girl, honestly. And I thought that was a cracking interview with Andy Bolton. It was just, I was beside myself when he told me that he was just about to eat a whole chicken for a snack, and before that he had 4 cheese sandwiches. So I mean, you can fully appreciate how somebody can get to 160 kilo. It takes a shitload of eating.
Yeah. And then some.
And then some more. It was brilliant to hear that he's going to be competing against him.
We'll get to see if he hits the numbers that he was talking about. I mean, £1,200 squat. A
£1,200 squat, but as I say, he's starting to get on a wee bit, and he's obviously feeling a wee bit. Do you really want to be doing that?
That's a lot of years he spent pulling out the big numbers. As I said, was it 12 years in a row?
Yep.
And increasingly, pushing those numbers up. And I mean, to have over 900 kilo totals consecutively, that's phenomenal.
Yep.
And it's going to take its toll on the body eventually. I mean,
of course it is. I mean, you're a bit younger and obviously not even moving the same, but I've seen you move some silly weights in the gym and leg pressing. And obviously you're getting closer to 40 yourself, and you realise that
cheers.
I don't even
you made 30.
And you're not even doing his daft stuff like that anymore.
No, you just it's the older you get, unfortunately, the more care you've got to take and accept that you are not superhuman.
I'm afraid that's the case. As well, he was saying that he's currently around about the 150 kilo.
Yeah, I had to laugh when he says, but his weight dropped right down to 140 kilo when he was injured.
And it helps because that's not too big.
No, not at all. The bit that's alarming, I think, is obviously not everybody has a perception or whatever of the length of training sessions. The way these guys train, obviously, as predominantly as bodybuilders, we're focused on a completely different style of training. So when he tells you that benching alone takes 2 hours, I mean, this is not going in there training your chest for multiple angles and varying reps. It's just benching for 2 hours.
It's raw bench press, it's board press, it's just as I said, and you wonder whether, obviously we're bodybuilders, but we still want to do big benching. It makes you wonder, like I was asking him, maybe we should consider using some chains and some...
With the benefit, obviously.
Aye,
I mean everybody's seen the photo shoots of the likes of Branch and doing the dips with the chains around the necks and the benching,
using chains, because it's obviously going to strengthen your lockout at the top.
Which is, at the end of the day, it's going to enable you to use a heavier weight for more reps in the long run.
Well, that's it. And also one of the things you notice as well is that, anybody that's gave a pec tear or anything like that, you find that it's always at the bottom of the movement.
Range, just as you try to push out.
Yep, so if you're using chains, for instance, it's a much lighter weight at the bottom because the chains are resting on the floor, of course. And as you get up higher, it's a gradual increase as you leave the kind of risk area, if you like, the actual lift. So... would you reckon something you'd consider yourself?
I definitely would. I wouldn't mind a shot at it. It's one of the few things I have never actually had a blast at, and certainly when you see it and then when you hear guys like himself talking about it, it's like Curiosity, I wouldn't mind, seeing what that feels like. I imagine it's going to be a hell of a lot harder than what it actually looks as well. Some of these guys, you watch them, don't you think, that's not too bad. I can foresee a bit of ego crushage.
Yeah. One thing I did use myself was the board press, or kind of like lockouts, if you like, tricep lockouts, kind of towards the end of my last bulk, to try and improve my triceps, and that was one thing that I really do think helped a huge amount, was doing those heavy lockouts. Not close grip, because I find close grip tends to be quite painful in the shoulders.
Yep, I agree with that.
But a kind of medium width grip, and doing heavy lockouts as a tricep movement. Obviously, traditionally it's a powerlifting move, but I really do think it helped a huge amount.
I definitely agree with that, because in recent times as well, when you're not in the gym and I'm hiding trying to get an advantage on you, we've been using the power rack for the same thing as well. A few inches off the chest enables you to use the bigger weights for that lockout, where you couldn't have a hope of moving it out the bottom part of the movement. It's a great feeling, and it's a very positive contraction you have as well.
Because you maybe think as well, like I was saying, you sometimes wonder whether you might be missing a trick in bodybuilding, because you tend to find you go to gyms like we train at, people have got a very, very old school mentality. It's
tunnel
like
vision.
It's like you go to the gym, and how you train is you do a body part split. You do chest on a Monday, you do back on a Tuesday,
and that's the way it is.
And that's how you do it. There's none of this like powerlifting type integration of different tips and tricks. It's very, very old school.
Whereas we know plenty of guys out there, board members as well, who are very much train powerlifting style, and they're massive bodybuilder look about them, so
that's true.
It goes to show you, both schools definitely go hand in hand to an extent. One heartbreaking thing I have to bring up there, but a squat and a deadlift session for 3 hours, I'd be going after 15 minutes. But that's maybe why I've got crap legs and back.
Well, the thing is, you don't fucking squat or deadlift hardly ever anyway, you're fanny, so
I can't answer that.
Well, I really enjoyed that interview with Andy, and hopefully we'll maybe hear again from him after his next event, and we'll get back to you on how he did, and we'll be looking forward to seeing him try to take on that 470 kilo deadlift to try and get his title back. That
would be interesting, and also wishing him good luck and an injury-free preparation for it, most of all.
Yep, definitely. Next up, we have an interview with IFBB Pro figure girl Lynsey Beattie. Lindsay is a long time pro. She's been competing for many, many years. She's did dozens and dozens of shows. Very, very experienced. Again, something that was really interesting that came out of it was a protein intake, and she's also a full-time mum, so have a listen.
Oh, hi, is that Robert?
It's Robert speaking. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm really well. Thanks very much for taking the time to speak to us.
Oh, no worries at all.
So how's things been anyway recently? What have you been up to? What's the latest?
I've just been, as you know, I'm full-time mum at home, so I'm always busy at home with the kids. And if I'm not with the kids, I'm sorting out my tan, which is my new job venture, business venture and stuff. So,
just for people that don't know, you have got 2-year-old twins, I believe.
I've got 3-year-old twins and an 18-year-old son as well. So.
How the hell do you manage to balance that with training and everything else?
And dieting and running a business. Yeah, it is quite hard, and it is like a military operation. In my house, it's like I have them running around like soldiers to get it done.
Give us a run through your typical day as a mum, as a bodybuilder.
Yeah, of course. Not a problem. Probably about 6:30 when the kids get up, and they stay in their room and watch the television when they're up. I go down and I get on my bike at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I do my cardio first thing before the girls come down for the breakfast, and then at 8 o'clock they come down. I've finished my cardio by then, sort their breakfast out, sort my breakfast out, sort everyone else's breakfast out. Once they're all done there, then I get them ready for the day, hair, bath, whatever it is they need doing, and get them dressed and stuff like that. And then I answer my emails, do my orders for my tan, and then it's coming on to probably about mid-morning food for the kids. I normally give them a snack. At the same time as when they're having their snack, I have my mid-morning food as well. So I'm really like a baby, so it's not too bad because I feed like the kids. And then get them ready for the nursery. They go 3 days a week to nursery. So get them sorted for their bags ready. They get their lunches sorted. At the same time doing their lunches, I'm prepping my lunch. Take the kids to school. Come back, have some food myself. From there, I will then head out to the gym. I'll go and do my workout at the gym.
How many days a week is that you train?
I train in every day, Monday to Friday, and I have the weekends off because nobody's had the kids the weekend for me, and if they're not in nursery, I'm at home with them constantly. So I head to the gym, do my bits, whatever I'm doing that day. Have whatever, do my pre and post workout food while I'm at the gym. Come back home, do the mummy stuff, the hoovering, the ironing, the washing, whatever else is needed doing, the shopping. Then go and pick the kids up from school. When I pick the kids up from school, give them a tea, then I like my food again. So it's again every time the kids are eating, I'm pretty much eating with them. So it's not too bad. Get the kids ready for bed, get them into bed, sort out my next meal for my later on food. And then back on cardio for me. Do my next 30 to 40 minutes cardio. Have some food if need be, and chill out. Watch the telly. Go to bed and start all over again. Yeah, so it's quite a full day, and some days are worse than others, depending on what I've got planned, really. So some days I've got to run around doing more jobs than I normally do, so it's quite busy.
Tell us a bit about your tan, because I know that you've got a product out at the moment and it seems to be getting some good reviews.
Yeah, it's literally, it's been 2 years in the making. Me and my business partner, Alexandra, we decided that we would develop a tan. Now, the reason for me developing a tan wasn't because I thought, there was a tan that needs to be out there or whatever. It was because I don't tan very well with any of the tans that are out there at the moment. Every show I've done over the years, my tan just never looks right. It's not dark enough or I'm too light. It just doesn't matter what it is. I always get comments, oh, your tan's this or your tan's that. So I thought, right, I've got to develop a tan which is going to work for me. And hopefully if it works for me, it's going to work for everyone else. So we sat down together, and my business partner she does a lot of tanning, but obviously not for bodybuilders. She's more on the beauty side of it. And because of my knowledge of the bodybuilding and her knowledge of tanning itself, we thought, right, we'll get our heads together and we will come up with a tan which is, one, dark, without many coats. So, maximum of 2 coats. A lot of people are just having 1 coat and they're completely dark with that, which is great. We wanted it to be able to dry very fast. So you could then, after like a minute, you could put your clothes back on and you could be dry. So you don't have to worry about having a wet body for 24 hours, wearing all, sheets around you to keep the tan off everything. Which, it's just one of those things. So we wanted it to be dark, dry quickly, and also we wanted it to be able to be washed off after the competition and not be stained for weeks on end, whereas a lot of people in a normal job, if they've got to go back to their normal job on the Monday morning after they've done a competition and they're completely orange,
I know all about that, yeah.
Yeah, we're there. So, these are the little things that I wanted to have in a tan. And obviously, we went away and we spoke to the tanning manufacturers, and they came up with a few tans, and they've developed 5 different tans for us, which we've sent back because I wasn't happy with them. It wasn't drying fast enough. It wasn't dark enough. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. So we kept on sending it back until we had one that came back, and I went, oh yeah, this is great. So yeah, we went ahead with that. We did all our tests and trials and stuff like that. And 2 years later, we have a tan. So the tan's been brilliant. It's been going, every day. I'm doing orders every day, not just for the UK, but I'm also taking orders in America now, which is really good. So, it's been great. It's just been like a learning curve, shall we say, as well, because it's like, oh my gosh, what have we done? Because it's quite daunting as well, especially both of us are full-time mums. We are pretty much stretched to the limit. But we thought, we're going to do this. And, because because it's our own tan, you know, we can go back to the manufacturers and tweak it if we need to. If there's anything wrong or we find that, you know, something's not right, we can go back and say, right, we want to change it, which has been fab. You know, so, you know, we are in control of our own product. We're not a big company like, you know, some of the American companies. We can go back and we can change whatever we need, which is brilliant.
One of the things that people who I know personally have problems with the likes of Sajantana was they found that it doesn't take to the skin. It wasn't that it didn't go dark, it just simply wouldn't take to their skin, even though they use the skin prep. So is that one of the problems you had?
Yeah, I mean, we're still trying to develop a tan again, even now. Most people that we've tried it on have been great, and maybe the odd one is just not taken as well as what we'd expected it to. So we've gone back to the manufacturers and we said, listen, we need to change something in the ingredients that, you know, we want to know what we can do. So this is great on everybody. So at the moment they're looking into that as well, because obviously that was one of the other stipulations of when we had the tan. We wanted one that would work for most skin types, and over the years I have noticed like some people's skins just don't take to tan, and I'm one of them people. So we basically are still, you know, we've still got our tan, which is going great, but we do want to tweak it a little bit more, so we have, you know, a lot more people can take it. I mean, everyone's being fine with it at the moment, but like I say, I want to be able to sell it out everywhere and everyone's completely happy with it. But like Jantana and some of the others, they do have problems, and I think it's just one of them things. You know, a tan's probably not going to work on 100% of people. So again, but I would like it to be working on, if I can, on 99%. You know, I'm never going to get 100, but you know, it would be great if I can get as many skin types as I can. You know, working well with it. At the moment, it's working well with most. So, like I say, we're just in our first stages, and this is our very first run of the tan. So at the moment, so far so good.
Hopefully people will get to hear that and maybe give it a shot, because as you say, a lot of people just don't take to it. So it'll be interesting to see some of the feedback as the months roll on, and hope that goes well for you. So what's happening for you at the moment? Have you got any competition in the line? You've had, is it 20 shows in America, I believe?
I've been competing in America since 2003, so I've done quite a lot over there now. I'm up to about probably over 25 pro shows. And that was from my fitness days as well, because I started out as a pro, as a fitness athlete, and then obviously when the new figure section came in on the pro ranks, I moved from the fitness to the figure, which was better for me, and it was easier for my little joints, because they were getting a bit knackered on jumping around the stage and doing backflips. Was not for me. So I swapped to figure, and I've been with that ever since, which has been great. And I am now getting ready for a show in September, so I'm now 9 weeks out from the Nordic Pro, which is in Finland, and that's in September. So I've been dieting now for the last 11 weeks. This is my longest diet I've ever done, which is hard, especially with the kids at home and a full busy day. It's pretty daunting, but it had to be done. I needed to do some changes this year from last year's competition, and I thought, right, let's go for a longer diet. Obviously, that's what I need to see changes in my legs, because that's one of my major body parts I lack in. Not that I lack in muscle, plenty of muscle there. I just don't get the conditioning in the legs as I would like. So that's.
Do you find that when you diet down, that your upper half really dials in very, very quickly? You're just left with the lower half.
I'm 9 weeks out, and I have an 8-pack at the moment. And so I've got to be careful, and that's why I've done a longer diet, because my carbs are pretty high. So somebody on a diet, usually the girls, they tend to go low carb, but because my metabolism is pretty fast, I have to keep high carbs just to keep fullness in my upper body, because by now I'd look like a string bean. So
what is your macros at the moment?
Probably about 250 a day. So it's quite high, really.
That's higher than most guys will probably be at 9 weeks.
Yeah, I know. And because my metabolism is super fast, that once I start dieting for a show and I'm eating regularly, I'm burning it off. And I'm not losing, I'm losing body fat, but my weight is staying pretty, similar. It's not dropping too drastically, which is great. And I can see, well, obviously I'm getting really lean, but I'm still on high carbs. But as like I say, I'm doing more cardio and that's helping as well, so I can keep my carbs quite high.
That works well for you? You do 2 sessions of cardio a day from a long way out and just keep your food very high, but just do a lot of cardio just to kind of balance it out that way? Do you think that will?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of cardio. I only do probably half an hour to 40 minutes in the morning, depending on my time, and again 30 minutes before I go to bed, because that's the only time I can fit it in. So I'm not doing a great deal of cardio, but for me, it's working at the moment. What I will do is a little bit closer, probably 6 weeks out, I may up that cardio to a bit more. And keep my carbs the same, and then near the time I drop my carbs. I'm really bad when I drop my carbs because I can't function. Like everyone, people go, I've been on 50 grams of carbs a day, and I'm thinking, if I was on 50 grams of carbs a day, I'd be in the loony bin by now. There's no way I could do that. It's just impossible for me. So that's where I'm at.
What about your protein? What levels of protein at the moment and your fats?
Proteins are about, that's another, I have go pretty, probably about 300 grams of protein a day as well.
What's your stage weight actually?
Well, I can usually come in at about 126 pounds. Give or take a couple of pounds on a water drop and stuff like that. Yeah. And at the moment I am 133 pounds, so I'm not a million miles away from the 9 weeks, so it's not too bad. So yeah, it's all good. But it's a bit of a change from my diet really, because it's a bit different from last year. I am not really weighing it as much. I used to weigh it every time, but this time I weigh it, sort of know how much I'm taking in, and then I just go for the same sort of look of the weight. And I look in the mirror a lot more now and see how I'm going, because from many years ago when I first started out, I never used to weigh any of my food. I just used to eat it, and that was me. And that used to do me well. And I did get to the point where I used to weigh my food, and it made me go mad. I thought, I can't be doing it. It was really difficult, because I started going, I can't eat that because it's weighing too much. And it started really getting on, in my head. So I've gone back to my old ways, which is, I weigh it out, like, to see what what it looks like, and then I tend to get the idea. So if I was to weigh out my portion, I'd be pretty much within the right, limits. I know pretty much what 20 grams is or 40 grams is or whatever, so it's not too bad now. I practice that.
Do you do your own diet and your own prep, or do you work around about it?
I used to always do my own prep and my own diet, and then over the last few years I've had someone else do it for me, only because of it's easy for me, just going to see somebody else and having them look at me.
Just basically follow orders and just follow that.
Yeah, and they look at me and go, right, okay, have this, do that, and that's great for me. And I like to be able to not worry about what I'm eating. Somebody else can worry about that and say, right, no, you need to have this and you need to have that, which has been great.
It takes a lot of stress off yourself. You feel this, you just follow a plan and that's it. You don't need to think about it too much, overthink it.
It just sits on the fridge. I look at it and I go, same thing. It's the same thing every day. So once you're into it, you know what you're eating. So it's quite easy, really. It's not too bad. So it's just the last couple of weeks that get harder for me, because then I do have to drop my carbs, and and it will be different this time because I'm prepping with somebody else this year. So it's going to be different. I like to see how they can dial me in and see what they can do for me this year. So
who have you worked with in the past, and who are you working with now?
I've worked with Nathan Harmon with Pro Bodies for my last show. This year I am working with James Collier from Muscle Talk. Okay. So he's one of my sponsors, so he's going to help me anyway. So he said he was going to help me with my diet and get me in condition for this show. So that's who I'm leaving my prep with this year, which has been great. It's been fantastic. Yeah, it's all good.
James has got a really good reputation for getting guys and girls in good shape. So
yeah, exactly, that's right. So I spoke to him a little while ago, and he said, "Okay, let's go. Let's do it." So I thought, right, let's go. And I've been going for the last 11 weeks, and it's all going good now. So I'm starting to see. Well, I started seeing changes a little while ago, but it's my legs, like I said before, is where I need to make my difference, and I'm starting to see some changes coming through there, which is brilliant.
What about one thing that was discussed with everybody we've had on the show was cheat meals?
Yeah.
It's something you see so much in the forums. There's always people arguing about it. What's your take being in cheat meals? What have you always did, or what are you currently doing with cheat meals? Do you have a refeed, a cheat meal? How do you work it?
I have a cheat meal every week. I have done always from day one of competing. I go all week, and then on a Saturday evening I have cheat meal. and I'll eat whatever I want. I don't think, right, okay, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. I don't feel guilty about eating anything either, because if I'm dieting for so long, then I do feel I need that. And to be honest with you, as soon as I have a cheat meal, it goes straight into my system, and I see a huge change straight away. So it's really good for me to get that, bad foods in me. But I don't tend to go really bad, to be fair. I tend to just go with a nice fillet steak with some chips and stuff like that, which is quite nice. So I don't go overboard, and I have like a piece of cake. That's about it, really. And after that, I'm done for the next week. But I don't do. Some people do like a refeed in the midweek. The only time I would do that is if I'd been on low carbs for a couple of days, then I'd have a high carb day just to fill me out a bit and see how I go. But I don't know how this prep's going to go this year, because obviously it's different this time round with a new prep coach. So we'll see. But I'm allowed to have cheat meals, so I'm quite happy about that.
Just a kind of a single meal, like a nice meal, a nice dessert, maybe like a glass of wine, a piece of chocolate, and
yeah,
a shoe.
Exactly. Yeah, that is exactly what I have. I'll either have Chinese, or I'll have like I said, steak, and I'll have cheesecake and a nice glass of rosé, and then I'm done. And I'm drunk as well. Get me drunk. So half a glass of rosé, and I'm already tipsy. So yeah, it's pretty good.
So what about your off season? Does it change an awful lot? I mean, do you do as much cardio, or because you've got a fast metabolism, it's just business as usual?
Yeah, I don't. In my off season, I tend to stick with the same sort of foods. I do up my carbs a bit more and proteins up a little bit more, not much more, but and I do ease off the cardio a little bit. I might keep going with the early morning cardio, because it's just getting into a pattern, and once you're in that pattern, it's hard to get out of. And I quite enjoy. It sets me up for the day, to be fair, getting on that bike in the morning. So I probably will keep that in my off season. I just won't have the later cardio session in the evening, and I'll just do more aerobic style training as well. Depending, I do some plyometrics and stuff like that, which is great. So again, I just change it. If I feel like I'm looking a bit flat, or I'm looking a bit little thin, which doesn't take much for me, I will pop it up a bit, and I will drop back on the cardio, so I don't need to do as much. If I feel like I'm putting on a bit too much, then I'll just bump up that cardio again and just burn it back off again.
Do you find that a bit of a balancing act at times, just to try and keep the correct look? I mean, obviously in the off season it's not as important, but I suppose it is to the degree keeping the correct look for your class.
Yeah, I tend to not go too much out of condition. I mean, I stay about 10 pounds, maybe off season, heavier in my off season than what I do on competition. So that's not a lot of weight, really, to be fair. And I tend to, all year round I have abs, whether I've dieted or whether I don't. So I try to keep it, because for like if I've got to do photo shoots and stuff like that throughout the year, if I'm not a million miles away, it's quite good. I can just do a photo shoot without worrying about being excessively heavy, shall we say. So I tend to not go too mad, really. Plus my body I can't seem to gain too much weight anyway. It's hard for me to gain a lot of weight, so for me to maintain at a certain weight and stay at that's pretty good for me.
Do you follow a lot of the UK bodybuilding scene, the ladies amateur scene in the UK?
I do follow it a little bit more now. I did go a little bit quiet on it over the last years, obviously, because I've had the kids and stuff, and I hadn't competed for 4 years, so I was a little bit out of it. But once I came back and competed last year, I was back on it again, and I was watching the scene and watching who's around, and just watching the classes and how they've changed and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm back onto it now, and I like to keep my eye. I go to quite a few of the shows now anyway, and it's great for me to publicise my tan and stuff at the shows. So
one of the things that a lot of the girls in the forums are talking about is they're having a lot of issues with definition of the different classes, and people maybe being shuffled around, people being moved out of classes, judges going for very different looks.
Yeah, I know. And I feel sorry for the girls, and even in my class as well, because you don't know what the judges are looking for on the day. You don't get a hint on what they're looking for. I think you just have to come to a show with how you think, what you think looks great for you, and be in condition and be in your own shape. Try and be in the best symmetrical shape you can be, and go for the best, really, because on the day, you don't know what the judges are looking for. They may want a softer physique that day. They may want a harder one. And it's hard for the girls, because it is hard for girls to get more in condition. And, for them not to have a specific guide. I mean, although there is guidelines, it doesn't seem to be always followed.
No, that's across all the federations, really. It seems to be a bit of a problem at the moment. It's just...
I think a lot of the federations have just got to get their heads together and go, right, this is what we want for this class. Don't deviate from it, because as soon as if you're asking in your rules and regulations for a softer look for a certain class, and then they start giving wins to girls with harder looks, then other girls are going to say, well, I'd have to go for a hard look because that's what they're looking for. And then they drop back to a soft look. So, it's hard for the girls to even know where they want, where they need to be, because there's no specific, this is where you have to, this is what we're looking for this class. Same for the bikini in the bikini class now that they've brought out. Some of the girls are in fantastic, well, most of the girls are in fantastic shape. Some of them are a lot harder than others. And again, bikini is about toned muscle, but not excessively hard. And girls are a bit like, when they're being knocked down for being too hard, although they've got a great physique, they're just a bit too hard for bikini, and it's hard because they don't know where they need to be, and again, it's a hard one to judge.
Do you think there's maybe too many classes now for the ladies, and it used to be maybe narrowed down a wee bit?
I don't know if there's too many classes. I think they just need to make sure that when they judge like one show, each show follows, because when you get to the Britain finals, there's a mismatch of different shapes and looks, to be fair, from one class to another. You think, right, okay, these girls all look very different when they need to all look very similar, for that class to work, and it doesn't always run that way. Again, I'm not a judge, so I can't say, but this is my personal opinion when I'm sitting watching the shows. It's like, that the winner looks very, very different compared to third place or second place. It's just, where are they going with their look? And that's for most classes, again, unless it's the bodybuilders, the bodybuilder females, then, if this specifically, you can pretty much work out who's your winner and whatnot. But again, it's the other classes that are a little bit mixed matched, really.
So kind of moving on to yourself again, some of the stuff that you've done along the years, I believe you've done a bit of acting as well.
Yeah. Well, that's the more recent stuff I've been doing. I mean, I did acting many, many years ago when I was a kid, and I did a few little theatre productions and stuff. Obviously, then I went on to other things, got into bodybuilding years on and stuff like that. And as I've been competing and my body has changed, and, it does look very different. I'm still classed as being very feminine, yet quite muscular. It has taken a bit of an eye with a few directors and stuff from films, which has been brilliant. I have done 3 films up to now, which is great, and I've got another one in the next few weeks. So,
can you talk about the ones coming up?
The ones coming up, yes. I play it's a gangster film. It's quite a harsh gangster film. I seem to be typecasted into gangster films, and I don't know whether that's because I've got muscle or whatever, but I seem to be mixed in with them. So, but they've been pretty great films. I mean, they've all been really good. So this one that's coming up, I actually play the girlfriend of a known gangster within the gang, shall we say. And I'm there, I'm just the girlfriend just to be around. So I've got a little script to do, and it's pretty good, really. It's all new for me. So it's like all my little bits are all like different. My last one I played a bodyguard, and then again this one I'm playing the gangster's girlfriend. So it's quite good, really. I get to meet quite a lot of people, and from this film as well, it may stem off to a few others. So we shall see where that takes us. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying having the opportunity to be involved in that type of thing from building up my physique through the bodybuilding. It opens another door for me as well. And also, with my eldest son, he does a lot of free running, and that I've got him into a film which we're both starring in August. It's like a fight film. So there's a lot of free running and fighting and martial arts in it, and I'm actually kicking and punching and doing all the martial art type thing, and my son's doing a lot of the free running, so that'll be interesting. That'll be his very first film that he appears in, so that'll be really good. Get him on board as well.
Well, good luck for your show in 9 weeks, is that?
Yeah, in Finland in September, so it'll be good. I'd like to see how I fare in the European show compared to the American show, so we'll see. I know the European girls are a lot harder, so that is the look I'm going to do this time round. On my last show last year, I was a lot softer, and so I'm going to go for a more harder look and see if that works for me. So we will just see. Trial and error, unfortunately. I just don't know what they want, and I'll just turn up the way I feel great, and if I'm feeling good, then I'll be happy with that.
Excellent. Well, we hope to maybe catch up with you again soon and see how you're going, and all the best for the coming 9 weeks.
Thanks very much.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thanks for your time, Robert. I'll speak to you soon. See you later. Bye.
So, yet again, we have another person on the show who's telling us that our protein intake is mega, mega high.
And a female.
And a female,
again at that, that's way high. Over 300 grams, over 300 grams. And
I mean, again, you're talking about the 2.5 gram per pound benchmark,
which is way high, isn't it? I mean, again, it's thrown an interesting swing on things. It's put another debate out there. I mean, there was recently involved in a debate of it's 500 grams of protein a day, the magic number and whatnot. With as regards men, it's interesting that that's 2 women so far. Anyway, I don't doubt there's many more out there around 300 gram plus.
Yeah. Well, the thing is as well is though, I mean, we're talking to people here that are big achievers and they're also getting prepped by people that really know their stuff. So, I mean, I know you're alluding to the conversation you had in UK Muscle. So, what was the outcome of that conversation? The guy was I think the guy was going by the name Anabolic, but I think he'd probably better suited to being called Anaerobic, to be honest.
Oh my god, it's just your usual forum monkey, sitting there with a wee avatar, with a body, that's of a prepubescent boy training, stating how it's 300, 400 grams of saturated fats and 100 grams of protein a day and you'll gain like never before. Well, how come it's always the guys with the mediocre physiques that say these things, that year in year out don't change, that year in year out I see girls that are bigger than them, when there's guys sitting there, I mean, not to blow my own trumpet, I've achieved a few things, prepped God knows how many people to great success. There's umpteen other guys of calibre come in stating to them, we see your point, but you're wrong. Some people it's like banging your head against the wall, but hey, what do we know? We've only got decades experience in the sport and amongst the athletes.
But that is bodybuilding forums, and to be honest, what we would do with our time, do you know what I mean?
That's it. We'd have to go and do something like a real job.
Exactly. Moving on with Lindsay, in an interview, she was mentioning about her tan that she's got coming out.
That'd be interesting.
That would be, because I mean, personally, I got on really, really well in the UK BFF with the Jantana. It takes to me brilliant. You've seen yourself 1-2 coats it, and I'm really brilliant. But like yourself,
pissy ginge,
and
it just doesn't take to pissy ginge skin at all. it's the ammonia. I think
that's not also true. I mean, Ramsey, our good friend Ramsey, he also has a problem with it. I mean,
he's only got a wee bit of ginge in him.
Has he got a bit of ginger in him as well?
A bit of ginger in his beard. He denies it, but he's been training with me for nearly 20 years.
The genetic is there.
It is. The trait. He's soaked up that much of my sweat on the benches. There is ginger inherently in his makeup now.
I'm afraid so. So that must be the reason why it doesn't take to him either. So it would be good for maybe something for yourself to look at.
I'd definitely be interested, because on a serious note, it's one of the reasons that used to put me off of competing with the UK BFF, because obviously they don't allow products like Dream Tan, Instatan, whatever. You know what I mean? So it kind of throws another stress onto the day again. Am I going to, is my colour going to be okay? Is my colour going to stay on when I start sweating bucket loads under the lights? Is my colour going to stay on me, or is it going to drip to the stage? If this is what she's managed to get, well, I see great success coming from it.
Hopefully, I mean,
we've got international demand so far for it, so she says. So you can't doubt it.
That is true. I mean, you see guys backstage and they're using the same tan as you, but it looks completely and utterly different. And some of them are really, really pale and a kind of off colour, and that's kind of yourself and Ramsey that gets that look. But then you see other guys
dark,
like Erebos in the forum.
Yes,
he goes colour. What a fantastic colour he goes with Dream Tan. So with Jantana. So it just shows you that there is so many different obviously issues with tans, and it'll be really interesting to see how that tan goes. I believe Paul Scarborough may have been using it.
I think he did.
I can't quote that, but we're going to have Paul on the show very, very soon, so maybe he can clear that up for us.
We'll ask him that question indeed and see what he has to say.
Yep. The other thing that came out of Lynn's interview is that, I mean, if you take a look at her pictures, she is a beautiful, beautiful girl.
I shall refrain from commenting, for it may be vulgar.
She is. She's a very, very attractive lady, and the shape she's in, and she's a mother of 3.
It totally flies in the face of all these women that want to sit at home and, oh, poor me, I've had a kid. Well, she's had 3.
Yep. Twins at
that. I don't imagine holding that when she was carrying the twin, she would have had a small bump either. So this whole thing of people saying, oh, the baby belly and can't move it no matter what I do. Get a grip, hard work, graft, get off the couch, stop watching Jeremy Kyle, get in the gym, put the effort in with your food.
It's as simple as that. I mean, she's
harsh.
Obviously, she gave us a rundown.
I'm harsh.
She gave us a rundown your day, and obviously you can take for it what you like. But she's up at the crack of dawn every morning. She gets her cardio done before the kids get up, and she does it at night when the kids go to bed, and she just fits it in about your day. And that's really what bodybuilding all stems into, because let's face it, we're all it just shows you, even at pro level, it isn't glamorous.
No, not at all.
It's the same shit as you have to go through as an amateur folk like ourselves. You have to get up, and obviously I don't have any kids, but you have to get up, you have to do your cardio before work, you have to do your cardio after work, train, eat. It has to be regimented,
I think,
and it's all down to hard work.
I mean, that's obviously where I've partly went wrong, because I mean, the only things I do before my kids get up is maybe scratch Mars and turn over. I'm certainly not interested in doing cardio at that time in the morning. But more power to her. No, seriously, it's a busy full day. You can hear it sounds as if she's eating most of her meals as solid foods as well. She's fitting that in amongst taking the kids to the nursery, getting on about her day, a day's work. Juggling obviously her upcoming project, and then there's obviously going to be when she's prepping. It's like so many. It's like, as you say, people seem to think the lives of pros are going to be this glam thing where they've only got that to do all day and nothing else. But obviously there's a lot goes on there, so it gives you a bit more perspective as to.
That's the thing as well. I mean, you're not making any money as such just because you're a pro. No. You've still got to maybe go and train people. You've maybe got to, like she's doing, she's got business interests. It isn't an easy life being a pro. It's exactly the same as being an amateur in many, many ways. You just get that wee bit more recognition, that feather in your cap. But
absolutely,
as maybe attract a better sponsor. But as I say, it certainly ain't an easy life. And as Lindsay was saying, she's going to be competing when she's in prep mode. She's in a great position. Hopefully things go really well for her. We had yet another person there, Brian, as well. Working with Nathan Harmon, he seems to be one of the kind of.
It does seem to have a reputation with working with the girls and success with the girls. I did not mean that the way that came out. That was before Andy misconstrues anything.
His name keeps popping up all over the UK right now.
It'll be interesting to hear.
Definitely one of the top guys right now for prep in the UK. I suppose as is James Collier. He's prepping Lindsay just now, but he's worked with a lot of guys, and he's definitely. He knows his stuff.
He's had a lot of success with a lot of guys over the years. I think a lot of people probably aren't aware of that he's had a hand in prepping and whatnot.
That's Ball for one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, is there a bigger, more conditioned freak on the UK scene than that man? Yeah,
I don't think so. So I mean, hopefully Lindsay has a good contest prep, and we'll get back to you on how she does shortly. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. We're going to be back again in a few weeks' time. We're going to have Sue Farrell, who won the Muscle Talk show. This is the saga with the 4th place Jodie Marsh, and just a wee bit of chat for Sue, because she's a fantastic bodybuilder. She's also very, very highly achieved in powerlifting.
Well learned.
Oh yeah, she's educated as well. So I think she'll be a really, really good interview. Hopefully we're also going to have one other person involved in the whole Muscle Talk show, Jodie Marsh saga, to give us a wee bit on that as well. And we're going to have an ex-Mr. Universe with a bit of luck, just to hopefully tie everything up, and we'll get back to you very, very soon. So again, hope you enjoyed the show. Anything you want to get in touch about, just email me at robert@testosteronemuscle.co.uk, or pop on the forum, and you're going to find us there quite regularly. So I'll see you next time.
Bye bye, folks.
T-Muscle Radio, brought to you by testosteronemuscle.co.uk, the best of bodybuilding.